Have you ever felt that sinking feeling when a man suddenly starts ignoring you? It's like you've become invisible overnight, and your mind races with questions. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something to push him away? The urge to fight for his attention or prove your worth can feel overwhelming. But pause for a moment. What if I told you that the most powerful response isn't in chasing, overthinking, or confronting, but in stepping back and embracing a stoic mindset? Instead of reacting emotionally, imagine regaining control of the situation with calm confidence and dignity. In this video, we'll dive deep into 9 transformative principles of dark Stoic psychology that will help you navigate this challenge. By the end, you'll not only command respect, but also rise above the situation with unshakable self assurance. Stay with me, this could change everything. Chapter 1: The Psychology of Ignoring. When someone ignores you, it's natural to feel unsettled. You start questioning yourself, wondering if you said something wrong or if you're no longer important to them. However, here's the first Stoic truth. When someone ignores you, it's rarely just about you. More often than not, it's a subtle yet deliberate game of power and control, whether consciously or unconsciously played. Ignoring someone triggers emotional responses, confusion, insecurity, and sometimes anger, because humans crave certainty and validation. But rather than reacting impulsively, the Stoic approach teaches us to step back, observe, and analyze the situation with clarity and objectivity. Ask yourself this: is this person ignoring you to test your reaction, assert dominance, or shift the dynamic in their favor? Or are they genuinely disengaged due to personal reasons or a lack of interest? These are critical questions because they shift the focus from emotional reactivity to logical assessment. When you view the situation from this analytical lens, you remove yourself from the emotional turmoil and place yourself in a position of power. Understanding his intention behind the silence is the first step in deciding how to respond, or whether to respond at all. From a psychological standpoint, ignoring someone often stems from a desire to gain the upper hand. It's a tactic used to create uncertainty, which forces the other person into a reactive state. When someone pulls away, your natural instinct might be to close the gap, reach out, and restore the connection. But this pursuit often backfires, as it reinforces their power in the dynamic. The more you chase, the more control you relinquish. Stoicism, however, offers an alternative. Resist the urge to react emotionally. Instead, choose deliberate inaction. This doesn't mean you're indifferent, it means you're choosing self-respect over impulsive reaction. On the other hand, if the person's behavior stems from genuine disengagement or personal struggles, your response should differ. Recognizing that someone's behavior may not have anything to do with you is a liberating realization. Not everything is about you, and not every action requires a counteraction. The Stoic mindset reminds us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, emotions, and actions. You can't control why he's ignoring you, but you can control how you respond to it. Understanding the psychology of ignoring also reveals the power of uncertainty. The human mind despises ambiguity. When someone ignores you, it creates a gap in your understanding, which your mind races to fill. This uncertainty can become emotionally draining if you allow it to consume you. However, Stoicism teaches us that not knowing is okay. When you refuse to let the ambiguity dictate your emotions, you break free from the trap of overthinking and maintain your composure. This isn't about ignoring him back out of spite or engaging in a power struggle. It's about recognizing that your worth and emotional stability don't hinge on his attention. It's about rising above the situation with confidence and grace. By not reacting impulsively to his silence, you create space for clarity and perspective. You can then evaluate the relationship on your terms rather than being caught up in the chaos of his behavior. Ultimately, the Stoic perspective teaches us that understanding the game of ignoring is the first step to mastering it. Whether his actions are intentional or not, you hold the power to decide how much influence they have over you. Instead of falling into a reactive pattern, use this moment to strengthen your emotional discipline and reinforce your self-respect. When you approach the situation with calm detachment and objective reasoning, you strip his behavior of its power and regain control, not just over the dynamic, but over your own inner peace. Chapter 2: Control What You Can. In the philosophy of Stoicism, one of the most empowering lessons is learning to distinguish between what lies within our control and what does not. This principle, when fully understood, can transform the way we navigate relationships and life's inevitable challenges. At its core, it emphasizes the futility of attempting to control external factors, such as the thoughts, actions, and feelings of others, and instead encourages us to focus solely on what we can control: our own thoughts, reactions, and decisions. This shift in focus is not just practical, it's liberating, especially when applied to the complexities of relationships. Consider a scenario where you're deeply invested in someone's attention or affection. Perhaps you're waiting for a response to a message or hoping they'll express the same level of care and commitment you feel. When they don't act as you expect, it's easy to fall into a cycle of overthinking, analyzing every interaction, questioning your actions, or even doubting your worth. But in doing so, you're giving away your power by tying your sense of value to someone else's behavior, something completely beyond your influence. Stoicism invites you to step back and recognize this pattern for what it is: an unnecessary drain on your energy and peace of mind. Instead of chasing or overanalyzing, pause and redirect your focus inward. Ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? The answer is simple but profound. You can control your reaction. You can choose to respond with calmness, self respect, and emotional clarity. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending not to care. Rather, it means acknowledging your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. By doing so, you demonstrate a level of self respect that says, I value myself enough not to be consumed by what I cannot control. This mindset shift is powerful. It frees you from the exhausting pursuit of validation from others and helps you find stability within yourself. You begin to realize that your worth is inherent. It isn't something that fluctuates based on how someone else treats you. When you internalize this truth, you no longer feel the need to chase anyone's approval. Instead, you exude a quiet confidence, an inner strength that commands respect. People are naturally drawn to this kind of energy because it reflects someone who is grounded and self assured. Cultivating this perspective also helps you navigate the uncertainties of relationships with grace. Relationships, by their very nature, are unpredictable. Feelings change, misunderstandings occur, and external circumstances can shift in unexpected ways. Trying to control these variables is not only impossible but also counterproductive. By focusing on what you can control, your actions, your communication, and your boundaries, you empower yourself to handle these challenges without losing your sense of self. For example, instead of obsessing over why someone hasn't called or texted, you can choose to channel that energy into something constructive. You might decide to engage in activities that bring you joy, spend time with supportive friends, or reflect on your own goals and aspirations. These choices reinforce the idea that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's behavior, but is rooted in your own actions and mindset. The beauty of this approach is that it fosters resilience. By letting go of the need to control external factors, you create space for personal growth and self discovery. You begin to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to practice patience, self discipline, and emotional balance. Over time, this builds a strong foundation of inner peace that remains unshaken, regardless of external circumstances. Ultimately, the principle of controlling what you can isn't just about managing your reactions in the moment. It's about embracing a philosophy that prioritizes self respect and emotional freedom. It teaches you to trust in your own ability to handle whatever comes your way, without being dependent on the actions or approval of others. This mindset not only enhances your relationships, but also enriches every aspect of your life. By focusing on what you can control, you reclaim your power, preserve your peace, and position yourself as someone who moves through life with grace and dignity. Chapter 3: The Power of Strategic Silence. In relationships, silence is often misunderstood as a sign of indifference or weakness. However, when applied strategically, it becomes a powerful tool that demonstrates emotional intelligence, self control, and maturity. Silence is not about passive aggression or manipulation. It is about recognizing the value of restraint and allowing space for clarity to emerge. When someone ignores you or withdraws their attention, the instinctive reaction might be to chase them, to demand answers, or to seek reassurance. But stoicism and emotional wisdom teach us a different path, one where silence becomes a calculated, empowering response. When a man begins to pull away or ignore you, the natural tendency is to fill the void with action. You might feel compelled to send multiple messages, call repeatedly, or analyze every detail of your interactions to understand what went wrong. This reaction, while understandable, often works against you. It places you in a position of neediness and strips you of the calm composure that commands respect. Instead of reacting impulsively, consider the power of strategic silence. Choosing not to chase or overcommunicate sends a powerful message. You are someone who values themselves enough to avoid pleading for attention or validation. Silence, in this context, isn't about ignoring the situation or pretending not to care. It's about creating space. When you step back and stop reacting, you give the other person the opportunity to reflect. Your absence becomes noticeable, and the void you leave behind speaks louder than any words you could say. Silence forces the other person to confront their own thoughts and emotions without the distraction of your reactions. It creates curiosity, and curiosity often leads to a deeper appreciation of your presence. In a world that often values instant gratification and constant communication, the ability to remain silent is a rare and attractive quality. It demonstrates self discipline and emotional resilience. It shows that you're not swayed by every fluctuation in someone else's behavior. Instead, you remain grounded, confident in your worth, and unshaken by external circumstances. This composure not only preserves your dignity but also highlights your emotional maturity, a trait that is inherently appealing. Strategic silence also has a way of recalibrating the dynamics of a relationship. When you stop chasing someone who is pulling away, you shift the balance of power. Instead of appearing as though you're seeking their approval, you show that you are secure enough to step back and allow things to unfold naturally. This shift often compels the other person to reevaluate their behavior. They begin to wonder about your thoughts and feelings, and this curiosity can reignite their interest and appreciation for you. It's important to note that strategic silence is not about playing games or manipulating the other person. It's a reflection of self respect and the understanding that your value does not diminish simply because someone is temporarily inattentive. Silence is a way of saying, I will not fight for a place in someone's life. If they value me, they will make the effort to show it. This mindset fosters a sense of empowerment and independence, freeing you from the emotional roller coaster of seeking constant validation. Practicing strategic silence requires patience and trust in the process. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to taking immediate action to resolve conflict or uncertainty. But over time, you'll begin to see the benefits. Silence often leads to clarity, not just for the other person, but for you as well. It allows you to assess the situation objectively without being clouded by emotion or impulsivity. You may find that the distance helps you recognize patterns, reassess your own needs, and determine whether the relationship aligns with your values and goals. Ultimately, the power of strategic silence lies in its ability to communicate without words. It's a reminder that sometimes the most impactful thing you can do is nothing at all. By stepping back and allowing space, you not only protect your peace, but also position yourself as someone who is confident, composed, and self assured. Silence, when used wisely, speaks volumes. It tells the world that you are not easily swayed, that you respect yourself, and that your presence is a privilege, not a given. Chapter 4: Redirect Your Energy. One of the most transformative shifts you can make in your mindset is to redirect your energy inward. When someone's behavior, whether it's indifference, inconsistency, or a lack of attention, begins to dominate your thoughts, it's easy to lose sight of yourself. You may find yourself overanalyzing their actions, questioning your worth, or seeking ways to win their validation. However, this focus on someone else not only drains your energy, but also places your happiness and self esteem in their hands. The antidote to this is simple yet profound. Shift your focus from them to you. Redirecting your energy is not about distraction or pretending that their actions don't affect you. It's about reclaiming your power and channeling your efforts into what truly matters: your own growth, passions, and well being. When you stop fixating on what someone else is or isn't doing, you free up an immense amount of mental and emotional space. This space can be filled with activities and pursuits that enrich your life, bring you joy, and align with your goals. Whether it's advancing your career, cultivating a hobby, strengthening your body, or deepening your relationships with friends and family, every step you take towards self improvement reaffirms your value and independence. Focusing on yourself doesn't just improve your life, it changes the way others perceive you. There is something inherently magnetic about a person who's deeply engaged with their own life, someone who radiates confidence and purpose. When you're fully invested in your own journey, you naturally exude a sense of self assuredness that is far more attractive than any attempt to seek external validation. People are drawn to those who seem content and fulfilled, not because they need someone else to complete them, but because they already feel complete within themselves. This shift in focus is also incredibly empowering. It reminds you that your happiness does not depend on someone else's behavior or approval. You're in control of your own life, and you have the ability to create a reality that is rich, meaningful, and satisfying, regardless of how others act. This realization is liberating. It allows you to let go of the need to chase or cling, replacing it with a sense of peace and confidence that no one can take away from you. Moreover, redirecting your energy helps you build resilience. Life is full of uncertainties, especially in relationships, where emotions and circumstances can change unexpectedly. By grounding yourself in your own passions and priorities, you create a foundation of stability that isn't shaken by external events. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or the outcome of your relationships. It means you learn to care without losing yourself in the process. Practically speaking, redirecting your energy might mean setting aside time each day to work on your personal goals. It could involve trying something new, like taking a class, starting a creative project, or exploring a new fitness routine. It could also mean spending more time with people who uplift and inspire you, or simply taking moments to reflect, journal, or meditate. These activities not only help you grow but also reinforce the idea that your life is valuable and fulfilling, with or without someone else's attention. This approach also helps you gain clarity. When you focus on yourself, you start to see your situation more objectively. You may realize that the person whose actions were consuming your thoughts doesn't align with your values, or that their behavior was a reflection of their own struggles, not your worth. This perspective makes it easier to let go of what doesn't serve you and move forward with confidence. Ultimately, redirecting your energy isn't just about self care, it's about self respect. It's a statement that says, I choose to prioritize my happiness, growth, and well being. This mindset doesn't just make you more attractive to others, it makes you more fulfilled within yourself. By focusing on your own journey, you create a life that is so vibrant and meaningful that someone else's actions become secondary. You reclaim your power, elevate your confidence, and remind yourself that you're always worthy, regardless of how anyone else chooses to behave. Chapter 5: Detachment and Self Worth. Detachment is a cornerstone of dark Stoic psychology, a mindset rooted in emotional resilience and self mastery. Far from being a sign of coldness or indifference, Detachment is about freeing yourself from the chains of external validation. It means refusing to tie your sense of self worth to someone else's actions, opinions, or presence in your life. Instead, it encourages an unshakable confidence in your intrinsic value. Detachment empowers you to say, if he wants to leave, that's his choice, but I won't compromise my self worth, and truly mean it. This mental and emotional shift is not just liberating, it's transformative. When you practice detachment, you emotionally disconnect from the need for external outcomes to validate your worth. In relationships, this can feel counterintuitive at first. Society often conditions us to equate our value with how others treat us, particularly in romantic contexts. If someone pulls away or expresses doubt, the instinctive reaction is often to cling, chase, or bend over backward to keep them close. But this approach places your happiness and sense of self in their hands, making you vulnerable to their whims. Detachment, on the other hand, shifts the power back to you. It reminds you that while you cannot control someone's behavior, you can control your response, and that response should always honor your self respect. Detachment is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about accepting that you can care for someone deeply while still refusing to let their actions dictate your emotional stability. This practice requires a deep understanding of the distinction between what you can and cannot control. You cannot control whether someone stays or leaves, loves you or doesn't, or values you in the way you hope. What you can control is how you perceive and respond to these situations. When you detach, you stop resisting reality and start embracing the power of choice, the choice to protect your peace and prioritize your well being. Emotionally detaching from someone's actions allows you to reclaim your power. You are no longer at the mercy of their whims, no longer riding the emotional roller coaster of their unpredictable behavior. Instead, you stand grounded, confident in your ability to thrive regardless of their decisions. This confidence is magnetic. It shows that you are not dependent on external validation to feel whole or secure. People are drawn to those who project this kind of emotional independence because it signals strength, stability, and self assurance. Detachment also fosters clarity. When you're not consumed by the need for someone's approval or attention, you can see the relationship for what it truly is, rather than what you wish it to be. This objectivity helps you make better decisions about who and what deserves your energy. You may find that someone's actions, when viewed without emotional bias, reveal whether they align with your values or meet your needs. And if they don't, detachment gives you the courage to walk away without losing your sense of self. Practicing detachment often involves challenging deeply ingrained beliefs about love and relationships. It requires unlearning the idea that your worth is tied to someone else's desire for you. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, it becomes second nature. Start by reminding yourself daily that your value is inherent. It doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's actions. Affirm your boundaries and practice letting go of the need to control outcomes. Each time you resist the urge to chase, overanalyze, or seek reassurance, you strengthen your ability to detach. Detachment is not about withdrawing from life or relationships. It's about engaging with them from a place of strength and self respect. It allows you to love freely, without the fear of loss, because your identity is not tied to another person's presence or approval. By detaching, you build a life rooted in your own passions, goals, and values. You become someone who is whole, fulfilled, and unshaken by external circumstances. Ultimately, detachment is a gift you give to yourself. It liberates you from the exhausting pursuit of external validation and replaces it with a deep, unshakable confidence in your own worth. It allows you to approach relationships with an open heart, but without losing yourself in the process. By practicing detachment, you reclaim your power, protect your peace, and embody the strength and dignity of someone who knows they are enough just as they are. Chapter 6: The Art of Mystery. Mystery is one of the most captivating traits a person can possess. It has an almost magnetic quality, drawing people in and keeping them intrigued. In the context of relationships, Mastering the art of mystery is a powerful way to command attention and maintain an aura of allure. It's about being unpredictable, selectively revealing parts of yourself, and allowing others the space to wonder and crave to know more. When combined with Stoic confidence, mystery becomes an irresistible combination, a game changer that sets you apart from others who rely on overexposure or predictability to gain attention. At its core, mystery is rooted in scarcity and selective disclosure. The more you hold back, the more valuable and intriguing you become. This doesn't mean playing games or intentionally withholding important information. It means avoiding the trap of overavailability and oversharing. In a world where people are constantly broadcasting their every thought and move, maintaining an air of mystery is refreshing. It piques curiosity and creates a sense of exclusivity. People are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand, and the effort to uncover the unknown keeps them engaged. One of the easiest ways to cultivate mystery is by managing your availability. If you're always accessible, responding instantly to messages, or dropping everything to accommodate someone, you risk becoming predictable. Predictability, while comforting in some contexts, can erode the excitement and intrigue in romantic dynamics. By contrast, being occasionally unavailable or taking time to respond signals that you have a full and fulfilling life. It shows that your world doesn't revolve around any one person, which is both empowering and attractive. Another facet of mystery is controlling the narrative about your life. Social media, for example, can be a powerful tool to subtly project an image of confidence and vibrancy without revealing too much. Posting an intriguing story, a photo from a solo adventure, or a cryptic but positive caption can spark curiosity. However, the key is balance. Overdoing it can come across as calculated or insincere. Instead, focus on sharing snippets of your life that reflect your passions and accomplishments, leaving out just enough detail to let their imagination fill in the blanks. Mystery is not just about external behavior, it's also about the way you carry yourself. A person who is confident, self assured, and unbothered by external validation naturally exudes an air of mystery. This kind of stoic confidence makes others wonder what lies beneath the surface. It conveys that you are someone with depth, someone who cannot be easily read or figured out. People are drawn to the sense of enigma because it challenges them to dig deeper and earn your trust and attention. Practicing the art of mystery also involves resisting the urge to over explain or justify yourself. In conversations, for instance, you don't need to divulge every detail about your thoughts, feelings, or plans. Offering just enough information to answer a question while leaving a hint of ambiguity can make interactions more engaging. Similarly, when it comes to relationships, avoid immediately laying all your cards on the table. Letting someone gradually uncover your layers keeps the connection dynamic and exciting. It's important to note that mystery doesn't mean being distant or unapproachable. On the contrary, it's about striking a balance between openness and restraint. You can be warm, engaging, and authentic while still leaving room for curiosity. The goal is not to create walls, but to inspire intrigue. When done with intention, mystery becomes an invitation for others to invest time and effort in getting to know you. Finally, mystery is a reflection of self respect. It demonstrates that you value your privacy, time, and individuality. By not revealing everything at once, you assert that your life is complex and meaningful, and that anyone who. Chapter 7, Master Emotional Discipline. Emotional discipline is one of the most challenging yet transformative principles of Stoicism. It is the ability to remain composed, grounded, and in control of your emotions, regardless of external circumstances. In relationships, this practice becomes especially powerful. When someone's actions have the potential to trigger feelings of insecurity, anger, or despair, emotional discipline gives you the strength to rise above reactive impulses. It allows you to say, I am unshaken by external events. I define my own peace. This stoic mindset not only fosters inner calm, but also sets you apart as someone who exudes strength and stability. At its core, emotional discipline is about reclaiming your power. Many people unknowingly hand over their emotional well being to others, allowing their moods and actions to dictate how they feel. For example, when someone is attentive and affectionate, you might feel valued and happy. But when they become distant or inconsistent, it can lead to feelings of rejection or self doubt. This emotional roller coaster is exhausting and disempowering because it puts your sense of worth in someone else's hands. By mastering emotional discipline, you break free from this cycle. You learn to regulate your emotions from within, rather than letting them be controlled by external events. A Stoic approach to emotional discipline begins with self awareness. You cannot control your emotions if you're not aware of them. Take the time to observe your feelings without judgment. When you feel hurt, frustrated, or anxious, pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is it because of something within my control, or am I reacting to something I cannot change? This simple act of reflection can create space between the stimulus, the external event, and your response. In that space lies your power to choose how to react. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what you can control and letting go of the rest. You cannot control someone else's behavior, opinions, or decisions. However, you can control your perspective, your boundaries, and your actions. When you internalize this truth, you begin to see challenges and disappointments in a new light. Instead of reacting emotionally to situations you cannot change, you accept them for what they are and focus on maintaining your peace. This practice not only strengthens your resilience, but also projects a sense of maturity and wisdom. Mastering emotional discipline doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It means acknowledging them, understanding their origins, and choosing how to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. For example, if someone's actions upset you, emotional discipline allows you to address the situation calmly and constructively, rather than reacting impulsively out of anger or hurt. This level of self control not only protects your inner peace, but also earns you respect from others. When you master your emotions, you become a person of stability and strength. In a world where many people are easily swayed by their feelings, your ability to remain calm under pressure sets you apart. This doesn't mean you are emotionless or detached. It means you have the wisdom to regulate your emotions in a way that serves you, rather than letting them control you. This calm, steady energy is deeply attractive and reassuring, as it signals that you are someone who can be relied upon and trusted. Practicing emotional discipline also builds confidence. When you know you can handle whatever life throws at you without falling apart, you develop a deep sense of self assurance. This confidence is not based on external factors but on your ability to navigate challenges with grace and composure. It reinforces the belief that you're capable, resilient, and in control of your own destiny. Ultimately, emotional discipline is a lifelong practice. It requires patience, self awareness, and a commitment to growth. There will be moments when you falter, and that's okay. Each slip is an opportunity to learn and strengthen your resolve. Over time, you will find that emotional discipline not only enhances your relationships, but also enriches every aspect of your life. By mastering your emotions, you claim ownership of your inner world. You become unshaken by external events and unwavering in your sense of self. This inner calm makes you stand out, not just in relationships, but in every interaction. It is a testament to your strength, maturity, and ability to thrive in the face of life's uncertainties. Chapter 8: Set Your Standards. Setting your standards is one of the most powerful ways to honor yourself in relationships and life. When a man ignores you, it presents an opportunity to reflect on whether his behavior aligns with the level of respect, attention, and treatment you deserve. It can be tempting to make excuses for his actions or adjust your expectations to accommodate him, but doing so diminishes your self-worth and sends a message that you are willing to settle for less than you deserve. Instead, this is your moment to reevaluate your standards, assert your boundaries, and make decisions that align with your value. Standards are not about being demanding or unreasonable. They are about defining what you will and will not tolerate in your relationships. They are a reflection of how much you value yourself. When someone's actions, such as ignoring you, fall short of your expectations, it is a signal to reassess the dynamic. Ask yourself, does this behavior align with the respect and care I expect in a relationship? Does this person's actions make me feel valued and appreciated, or do they leave me questioning my worth? Honest answers to these questions can illuminate whether the connection is worth pursuing or if it's time to set boundaries or walk away. High standards are not about rejecting people, they are about attracting the right ones. When you hold yourself to a certain level of respect and care, you naturally gravitate toward individuals who meet those expectations. People who are intimidated by your standards are often those who are unwilling or unable to rise to them. On the other hand, individuals who value you will see your standards as a reflection of your self respect and will strive to meet them. This process may narrow your options, but it ensures that the people you welcome into your life are those who genuinely align with your values and needs. Setting standards begins with knowing yourself. Take the time to identify what you truly want in a relationship and what behaviors or qualities are non negotiable for you. These could include honesty, consistency, respect, emotional support, or shared goals. Once you have clarity on your priorities, it becomes easier to recognize when someone's actions fall short. When a man ignores you or behaves in a way that contradicts your standards, it's not a reflection of your worth, but of his inability or unwillingness to meet your expectations. This clarity empowers you to make decisions that honor your value, rather than compromising in hopes of gaining someone's attention or approval. Boundaries are an essential aspect of setting and maintaining standards. They are the guidelines that protect your peace, self esteem, and emotional well being. When someone crosses those boundaries, whether through neglect, disrespect, or inconsistency, it's important to address the issue firmly and respectfully. Communicating your standards is not about issuing ultimatums, but about expressing what you need in order to feel valued and respected. If the person is unwilling to honor your boundaries, it may be a sign that they are not the right fit for your life. Walking away in such situations is not a loss but an act of self preservation and empowerment. Having high standards is not about perfection or expecting someone to meet every demand. It's about cultivating relationships that are built on mutual respect, care, and effort. When you set and enforce your standards, you create a foundation for healthier, more fulfilling connections. People who genuinely care about you will respect your boundaries and appreciate the clarity and confidence with which you approach relationships. It's important to remember that setting high standards does not make you difficult or unapproachable. It makes you someone who values themselves. When you demonstrate self respect, you inspire others to treat you with the same level of respect. This not only elevates the quality of your relationships, but also reinforces your own sense of worth. Ultimately, setting your standards is a declaration of self love. It is a way of saying, I know my value and I will not settle for anything less than I deserve. It is not a rejection of others, but an affirmation of your own needs and boundaries. By holding yourself to high standards, you cultivate a life filled with relationships and experiences that reflect your worth and contribute to your growth and happiness. In the end, it's not about who stays or leaves. It's about who meets you at your level of respect and values you for who you truly are. Chapter 9: Walk Away with Grace. One of the most empowering actions you can take in any relationship is to walk away. Not out of anger, spite, or frustration, but from a place of self respect and inner strength. Walking away with grace is a powerful statement about who you are and what you value. It's not an act of defeat, it's a declaration of your independence, self worth, and commitment to your own well being. In relationships, especially those that aren't serving you or where you feel ignored or disrespected, the ability to walk away with dignity is often the ultimate power move. When you walk away, you're signaling that your happiness is not dependent on another person's attention, approval, or validation. It's a reminder to yourself that your peace and emotional stability are more important than clinging to someone who does not appreciate or respect you. By choosing to leave a situation that no longer aligns with your needs or values, you assert that you have a life, goals, and desires that are worthy of being prioritized. In essence, you're affirming that you deserve more than what is being offered to you, and that you are not afraid to walk away in order to protect your peace. Walking away with grace means doing so without bitterness or resentment. It's easy to feel angered or hurt when someone's behavior makes you feel unimportant or undervalued. But holding on to negative emotions can prolong your pain and keep you tethered to the very situation that you need to leave behind. Instead, walk away calmly and confidently, knowing that this decision is in your best interest. By leaving with grace, you preserve your dignity and your emotional well being. You don't need to justify your decision or explain yourself excessively. Simply walking away shows that you understand your worth and that you are no longer willing to settle for less than what you deserve. Sometimes it is only when you let go that the other person realizes your true value. When you stop chasing, overextending, or seeking validation, they may begin to sense the absence of your presence and the void left in your wake. This moment of realization is significant, but it is not something you should wait for or anticipate. By the time they understand what they've lost, you should already be so focused on yourself that their recognition no longer holds any power over you. Your journey of self love and growth will be so fulfilling that you will no longer need external validation to feel complete. In fact, walking away can be an act of self liberation. It frees you from the emotional weight of a relationship that has become one sided, draining, or unbalanced. It opens up the space for new opportunities, whether it's for personal growth, new relationships, or simply the peace that comes with letting go of something that no longer serves you. When you walk away with grace, you're making room for better things to enter your life. You create the space for people who truly value and respect you to step in, and for your own personal evolution to unfold. Moreover, walking away teaches others how to treat you. When you demonstrate that you are willing to walk away from something that doesn't align with your standards or bring you happiness, you set a powerful precedent for how you expect to be treated in the future. It communicates that you will not tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or neglect, and that your emotional well being is paramount. This act of walking away from someone or something that doesn't serve you reinforces the idea that you are a person of high standards and unshakable self worth. It's also important to remember that walking away is not an act of rejection but an act of self preservation. By leaving, you are choosing to prioritize your mental and emotional health. You're not punishing the other person, but protecting yourself from further emotional strain. This shift in perspective, viewing walking away as an act of self respect rather than abandonment or failure, empowers you to take charge of your own narrative. Ultimately, walking away with grace is a reflection of your growth, maturity, and self respect. It is the acknowledgement that you deserve a relationship where mutual respect, effort, and care are present, and that you will not settle for anything less. It is the confidence to know that your happiness and peace come from within, not from the approval of another person. By walking away when necessary, you protect your dignity and open the door to a more fulfilling and authentic future. And when you walk away with grace, you leave behind not just a relationship, but the illusion that anyone can determine your worth. Your value is already solidified in your own mind, and that is what makes you unshakable. Your worth is inherent and non negotiable, and your happiness cannot be contingent on someone else's attention. By embracing the 9 principles of dark Stoic psychology, understanding, control, silence, energy redirection, detachment, mystery, emotional discipline, standards, and grace, you transform into an unshakable force. You learn to prioritize your peace, set boundaries, and move with purpose, regardless of external validation. The next time a man ignores you, remember, it's not about winning him back, it's about choosing yourself and affirming your value. You become someone who values themselves enough to never settle for less. If you found these insights helpful, Like, share, and subscribe for more on love, relationships, and stoicism. Stay strong and unshakable.